because we
Three,
are
two, one, go.
literally recording right now. We're live.
Happy, what's it called? May Day?
May Day?
May the 4th be with you. That's what it's called. The Star Wars Day.
Tomorrow's the better
May
day.
Day is May 1st.
May 1st.
May the 4th day is May 5th.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, because May 5th is Return of the 5th.
Oh, like the, yeah.
Return of the Sith.
Yeah.
Yep. Brought to you by
Speaking of,
Mike Tyson.
Yeah. We've got a lot of articles today.
We got 15.
Believe it or not.
It's going to be a good week.
And none of them Star Wars articles either.
Hallelujah, right?
Sure.
All right. Speaking of good news, the COVID tracking app from Google and Apple looks like it's starting to have some design samples and show you how they're going to do push notifications. Pretty interesting.
Okay.
A throat patch. This whole topic right here is more about how far you would go with a wearable. But a throat patch is supposed to help with detecting COVID-19 early on. It's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
AMD is looking to beat 2020, right? It's looking to beat Intel in 2020.
If AMD beats 2020, man, 2020's been rough, so I would be cool with that.
Oh, we got Windows 10 not knowing how to be an operating system or something. It's a very weird problem to have. Let me go.
Yeah.
The live stuff. You go. Keep going.
Xiaomi now offers opt-out user data recording. Wonder if that's actually true.
Nah.
VR, non-techies just don't understand. Engadget reports nearly 1 million new VR users because of Half-Life. Alyx?
Yep.
Don't know how to pronounce that. Forbes consumer tech expert says VR headsets are dying a lonely death. Boo-hoo. Wonder if that's true. SteamVR dies on the Mac. Well, I'm not terribly surprised. Everyone knows that gaming is on Windows. Carried over from last week. Yep, so this was a topic we didn't have time to get to last week, even though we only had a few topics.
I might get to it next week, right?
True. How Apple Watch saved 5 people's lives. The number just keeps increasing.
Yeah, by the time we actually talk about the topic, it'll be like 37.
Yeah. NephewTechs phone is soon to be insecure. RIP, you'll have to get my phone. Nintendo has principles, and leaked documents show that.
This is actually kind of cool.
Huh, that'll be interesting. Yeah. NVidia 3000 series graphic cards look to be a competition and last generation killer. So, the mid-level cards should even beat the flagship cards from last generation, which is nice.
It's crazy.
I'm still on that first 1000 generation, I guess.
Okay, you're on the 1000.
Not the first generation. Yeah, I have a 1080.
Okay, that's way ahead of me.
Hackers can now access computers not connected to the internet through your power supply capacitors. This is kind of interesting.
Oh.
Photoshop now has an AR, augmented reality, cut and paste or copy and paste using a phone camera and real world objects.
So
spooky.
It's a cool idea for sure. We're gonna have to trust that we're live. My computer did that thing again where it's saying the audio renderer, which probably means we're gonna restart halfway. Right?
My channel says yellow that we're live, so that's, I guess, nice.
Awesome. All right, but a throat patch is supposed to help with sweet.
It's not green, but it's yellow.
Yep, mine's live.
Photoshop. Billy Mitchell takes cheated high scores to court.
Man, I just saw this like videos on it like 6 months ago. I was really into it. Mm-hmm. And then to see that he's finally going to court, finally getting the aggravation out.
Some of that stuff takes a while, I guess, but that's weird.
Well, it's been like 20 years.
Donkey Kong. 20 years?
Yeah, like this has been a big problem for a long time.
Dude, I think you need to just drop it. But I haven't read the article, I don't know the situation. But
no, that's
wow,
crazy.
That's sounds crazy. And YouTube is securing streamers to use only their platform with a big name to be released that you have to stay on the line until we get to that article.
Or scroll down to the bottom of my description.
True.
Either one works.
Or scroll down to the bottom of my description. You can change channels. Come to my channel and read my description.
Awesome. All right.
It's a really big, popular streamer, though. So
he's one of the biggest.
One of the biggest. You got to stay online and check it out. Starting off with the COVID tracking apps
from our favorite website, The Verge. We got to have them. So we talked about this a few weeks ago at this point. And I'm pretty sure both of our consensus was that this was a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can opt in to install the app, I'm cool with it.
So it looks like it's going to be a built-in feature.
Okay. And if you don't remember, or maybe you weren't watching on the stream that we talked about it, basically what it is an app installed on your phone that uses Bluetooth to connect to the people's phones around you. And for example, if I'm with a group of people, there's a log that I've been around those people, an anonymized log, so they can't track it back necessarily. But we know that the person with this phone, which is just going to be like a random code, has been around these other people. So if in the future I get the virus, then it'll notify the other people who've been around this phone and tell them that they were in contact with someone who has the virus. Is that a good explanation?
Yeah, pretty much. Because it's not going to be using location services.
So it's not using GPS. It's literally just tracking via, I guess, Bluetooth, the people within, 6 or 8 or 12 or 10 feet of you.
Yes.
From your phone.
Yep, and they said that's going to use the low power Bluetooth, hopefully to help save battery, I assume.
Okay. Yeah, I would guess that it would save battery, and probably the only difference is it's probably some like latency or something.
I wonder latency and range, because like Bluetooth in my garage, it's like 25, 30 feet. Like I can be at my car and it worked in the garage on the other side, so it's like 30 feet. Just fine. And at that point, it's kind of hard to transmit a virus 30 feet when they say 6 feet is all you need.
Yeah, it would make sense, I think, for it to be a shorter range too, like you mentioned. It does say, if you scroll down to, there's the images at the top and then the images at the bottom. It says, where was it? It said somewhere it was opt-in. Oh, it says the apps can only be used for COVID-19 response efforts, will be restricted from using location services, so can't use location services, and require opt-in consent before accessing the API or sharing a positive diagnosis. Yep. And they will also not allow any form of targeted advertising. Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
In the resulting apps.
Yep. And then that next paragraph's really nice. In one new twist, the companies plan to restrict access to a single app per country in an effort to avoid fragmentation. So then it's not like, oh, Grandma, I don't know how to get yours turned on because you have the iPhone and I have an Android. Let me Google that real fast. It should be.
And then also, if I had the phone with one app and I was with a group of people with a different version of the app, or the app built by a different company or something.
Yeah. It's not cross-compatible at that point.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. It says there's a little bit of gray area in the United States. Because the United States is so big, a lot of that is managed at the state level rather than the country. So maybe there could be a single app per few states or something, but I guess that's still getting worked out.
Yeah, because this would be
which makes sense.
Yeah, that would be fine unless you live like on the state border or you work in one state and then live in the other state and you just travel 2 miles between the state lines.
That's true.
That would be the only time, I think.
And then, so this article also shows, like the images in this article are showing the notifications that you'll see, I guess, if you've been exposed.
And then these are all just mock-up samples. They're not official yet.
Cool.
But it looks like it is going to come out. Might be in time for COVID 2021.
Yeah.
21. It looks like
19. At this point, it's kind of, hopefully it's too late this time, but we'll see.
Yeah, right. Hopefully it's too late. But if it's not
Knock
too
on
late,
wood.
yeah. If it's not too late, looks like someone else has a possible solution.
Yes.
NWU.
What a nice transition.
Thank you.
NWMe?
NWMe. Yeah, NWU, NWMe, they're all the same, right? Over from TechCrunch.com. It's not Northwestern University. I was close, right?
Yeah, you were real close.
Researchers develop a throat-worn wearable that could offer early warnings for COVID-19 patients. I don't quite fully understand why this would be under the tech, but I
mean, yeah, it may not be electronic technology, or it may, but it could still be tech, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it is technically tech. It is like a little chip that looks for the symptoms. My interesting question is that this is almost tech that would fall with the like Apple Watch or the Fitbit or those types of tech. It's wearable.
Yeah.
What about the implant tech? Would you? Because I would be okay with this type with patch tech, I guess. I don't know what you would call this.
Yeah, I would say it is technically wearable because you do wearable.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's not implant, which means you can remove it. It looks like basically the way it works is it goes on your throat, you wear it 24/7, and it says it provides a continuous data stream. So basically that data becomes available instantly instead of regular check-ins, say every 15 minutes.
So it's probably Bluetooth.
I would think so. Yeah, it says the wearable essentially looks like a thin bandage the size of a postage stamp, which if you see the image, yeah, that's pretty accurate, except a rectangle postage stamp.
Yeah.
And it can monitor not only cough sounds and frequency, but also chest movements, heart rate, body temperatures, which is actually pretty important in this case, and the respiratory rate. And it's tuned specifically to what health experts have generally tagged as the most common early symptoms of COVID-19, which includes fever, coughing, and problem breathing. But I bet it could probably be tuned more for like the regular seasonal flu and maybe other things too if they want to do that. I think it's pretty cool.
It'd be interesting to see what the cost of one of these would be.
That's a good point, especially if it's got like a microphone in there and can talk over Bluetooth. Not that that's a lot, but it's in a pretty small package.
Yeah, it's not a 25-cent Band-Aid. It's going to
be. Yeah. It says right now there's about 25 people using it, just providing early data about its effectiveness via at-home and in-clinic monitoring. So still kind of in the early days. Doesn't necessarily say when they're looking at it coming out, but yeah, I think it's cool. It's like a thermometer that you can wear all the time, basically, or that also checks other things like your breathing and cough.
Yeah. So this ties in pretty well with number 12.
Wow, skipping up a little bit.
Just a little bit.
With the number 12?
Number 12.
Oh.
I have the ZDNet one open. We do not want notifications from ZDNet. Academics turn PC power units into speakers to leak secrets from air-gapped systems. So this is a super fancy title for they're using the power supply capacitors to change the frequency so that the fluctuations in the capacitor make tones that you can't hear for computers that are offline on purpose to store sensitive data. Wow. And so they have a really cool image here. I wonder if we could just open image, a new tab. and make it big. So they show a capacitor here with vibrations. So it would vibrate up and down, which moving stuff makes sound waves. That's sounds just moving.
That's what a sound wave is. Yeah.
Like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, good point.
And so what they're doing is they're making the CPU frequency shoot up and down to use a certain amount of power to make the fluctuations in the capacitor.
Okay.
And so the capacitor is making the acoustic tone. And so the malware goes onto all the threads, which is what this is showing, or all the cores. And that switches up the frequency by going up and down on the cores. And the power supply is going to put that audible tone. And then all you need is a phone. So in this video here, they show someone typing on the keyboard and onto a computer. And we're going to jump. And they have a phone about 3 feet away or so. I believe the limit is 1 meter, so 3 feet. But the point is, if you can get near the computer, you can stick a phone on the bottom side of the desk or something.
Yeah.
And then you can have the phone transmit it over the internet.
And for this attack, the computer is also going to have this malware on it. So whether it comes online at some point and downloads malware, or you have physical access to it and can install it yourself, which if you do need physical access and you can install it yourself, then that would be a good opportunity to put a phone or a recording device nearby.
Yeah, then you can record everything that happens on that secure computer.
And this article from ZDNet mentions some downsides of this attack. First, it's not extremely fast.
Yeah, it's limited to like 50 bits per second or something.
Wow, which is extremely slow. But if it's sensitive data, 50 bits of sensitive data could be a lot if that's a password or something.
Yeah, so it's 40 bits if it's up to 1 meter. It's 10 bits if it has to travel more than 2 meters.
Okay,
and the maximum recorded distance is 6 meters. Which, I mean, if you're talking 20 feet, to record the audible tones of the capacitors in your power supply. It's like if you're watching this
on really good noise cancellation.
Yeah, your ears can't hear anything.
Wow.
It's wild that they could hear the electricity moving on the inside of your computer and decrypt it to a point that it can send the data over.
I feel like, though, if you are going to have physical access to a computer, well, I mean, I guess if it's not connected to the internet, then yeah, this would be one of the only ways to get data off of it.
That or take pictures or videos, right?
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
But when I saw the headline of it, I was like, you can't hack
that. If it's off the network.
But sure enough, somebody found a way to do it.
Wow.
Speaking of a way to do it, AMD continues to crush Windows. I am going to mess this up all day.
2020.
AMD, 2020, 10, Windows, Apple, Ryzen.
Numbers.
AMD
Ryzen 3 3100 and the Intel Core i3 1010D0.
So it almost looks like Intel just looked at the Ryzen 3 3100 cross-eyed and wrote the i3 10D100.
Yeah.
It's all the same 3s, 1s, and 0s, but just in a different order.
That's such a big number.
So they're both quad cores.
Okay.
AMD is $25 cheaper than Intel.
Wait, how much dollars cheaper?
10 to 20, or not 10 to 20, 20 to 30.
Okay.
AMD at 99 and Intel at 122.
Okay.
But for $30,
Wow.
you get a processor that trades blows equally in a non-overclocked situation. The problem with that, though, is that AMD runs on way less power, and it runs way cooler, and it's overclockable.
So 3 advantages right there.
The fear is, the Intel, I believe, is also going to be overclockable. It may, I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, the big fear is that the second you put this in someone's hands and start overclocking it, it's going to crush Intel.
I mean, maybe, but to be honest, who's overclocking a $100 CPU?
Somebody that can't afford a nicer CPU.
Yeah.
So this does look like it's going to be more for entry-level gamers or younger gamers. So
yes, it must be.
Kids that don't have full-time job, like high school students and such.
Yeah.
Because with a $100 processor and you'll be able to get a $50 motherboard with it, you can get a really okay computer, really decent computer for gaming at $300 minus graphics card. And just depending on what you want with the graphics card. And then you can overclock it.
Yeah. And get some experience overclocking with
cheaper
CPU that if you ruin it, you're only out $100 or so.
Yep. But it looks very good. So
going down to the benchmarks, which is just below the chart of the
second one?
CPU lineup. I'm on the WCCF Tech link.
Comparison Firestrike or comparison times SPY in the top left corner?
Firestrike, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, Firestrike. The Ryzen 3 scored 13,339 points stock. And the Intel i3 scored 11,862 points stock. So right there, the Ryzen's performing, 10% better or so at 30% discount in terms of price, which is not small.
Yeah. Now I see this processor being sold out for a long while when it gets released with just everyone.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the go-to low-end processor.
It'd be especially nice depending on what their sockets look like their CPU sockets, whether you can upgrade it in the future.
Yep. So it's all on the AM4 socket, so you can put the Ryzen 5 3600X in there, which is what I'm using for our Minecraft server. It's a 6-core 12-thread, I believe.
Okay,
and it's a really good processor. But then you can go up to that 3700X or 3800X, and then you're talking 16 threads.
Wow.
And so
that's crazy.
You can use the same motherboard, RAM, SSD, graphics card, and go from a 4-core, 8-thread, $100 processor to a $500 processor. You're not going to get...
Now that's... Go ahead.
Oh, you're not going to get the best performance using a $500 processor and a $50 low-end motherboard.
Yeah.
But it will work.
Yeah. It'd be a good option for people who are building a system now. Maybe you could buy a slightly more expensive motherboard and the cheap CPU to save money. And then that way in the future, in 2 or 3 years, you can upgrade the CPU. Or probably even in 5 years. I mean, one of those higher-end CPUs would still be...
really good, yeah.
Yeah. Especially, it seems almost like for servers with all those cores and threads, if not for gaming. Because the clock rate is pretty good, but the clock rate doesn't really get much faster as you go up. Just because there's kind of a limit there. But
yeah. The bigger thing that would change with the clock rate is that a lot of times that first core clock rate is going to be super high. And then, so like the first core would be 3.6 gigahertz, but then all the other cores would be 2.4 or something stupid.
Yeah.
And then that's one thing that the newer processors are going to start solving better, I think, is that they're all going to be, they're all going to rise to start getting closer and closer to the main core.
But wow. Yeah, I mean, AMD's been doing a lot better over the past few years with Ryzen, so.
Yeah. One other interesting thing I found about it is that in my store, I sell pre-builds a lot. Not pre-builds, custom builds by me. Like, I pre-built them for the customer. And I used to recommend the 6100 when the i3 6100 when it was new. And then I used the i3 8100 when it was new for like up until really recently.
Okay.
And now I'm going to switch over to the Ryzen 3100 if it's as good as it's looking, because using the Ryzen downstairs for the server changed my mind. AMD has been doing something right.
And at that price, man, you can't go wrong. But you really don't need one of the higher end ones with that many cores unless you're going to be
using the cores.
Yeah. I guess maybe insane video processing or 3D modeling or running a server maybe, but
yeah,
for gaming, don't really get the same advantage there. That sounds good though.
Man, this topic's gonna kill us.
Microsoft Windows.
So Microsoft shifts the focus on Windows 10X to single screen devices. This is over from Engadget.com. So Windows 10X was originally meant for dual screen computers.
Like that was the purpose of it?
Yeah, so specifically their Surface Neo, which was that dual screen phone.
Okay, gotcha.
I believe the Neo was their dual screen phone. Let's double check. Yeah. And it looks like they're going to try to move Windows 10X to single screen devices, which single screen devices run Windows 10. Which is going to get super confusing when you have to ask your customer, do you run Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, Windows 10X?
Microsoft.
You know what's
Microsoft Windows. Yeah.
You know what's going to be really bad? When they drop the 10 and their third version of Windows 10 is going to just be Windows X, the Roman numeral 10.
Yeah, like the whole issue with the iPhone.
Yep, so it's going to be Windows 10, Windows 10X, and then Windows X. I can almost guarantee that they're going to eventually drop that numerical numbers. But yeah, it looks like that they're going to try to go with one OS, which was...
Down at the end of that article, it says, it's unclear what the benefit of Windows 10X could be for single-screen devices, given that the OS is mainly designed for two screens. 10X will ostensibly make it easier for dual-screen users to organize and interact with Windows across two screens, while making blah, 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 blah.
So, Windows...
So, is it still going to be used for two screens, but just also have the capability for a single screen?
Yeah, I have no clue. And then it gets more confusing.
Gotcha.
Like right now I have 4 screens on my Windows 10 desktop. And
Yeah.
I bet you have at least 2 screens in front of you.
Yeah, I have 2.
So should you upgrade to Windows 10X?
Works fine for me.
Like, I don't understand why they had to have a second. Because like the worst part, I might do a video on this one actually this week. Windows 10 has like the tablet mode. Over in the notifications, and it makes everything just big and square for your fingers.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we all have square fingertips now. And so, like, why wouldn't they just have another little icon that says two screen mode?
Yeah, I don't.
Or I
They
wonder,
must know something we don't know.
yeah, if instead of it being a mode, it being a version. So you have Windows 10 Home, Windows 10 Pro, Windows 10 X,
Or Windows 10 Dual or something.
yeah.
Maybe something that actually indicates what it is, not just X.
No, it's wild that that's a problem that they have.
Yeah, I mean, the two screens have always worked for me, so I guess I haven't noticed something.
Yeah. Never even noticed it. Speaking of companies digging themselves into a hole, this is over on
Xiaomi.
AndroidPolice.com. Xiaomi Mint browser records web searches and other data, even in incognito mode. And then there's an update to the article. There's now an opt-out setting, which is buried in a menu.
So I'd actually never heard of the Mint browser.
I've heard of Mint Linux.
Okay,
Never
yeah.
the Mint browser.
Yeah.
So some dude named Cyber Gibbons over on Twitter was showing some interesting stuff that I don't understand. If you want to explain it, go for it. But
yeah. Let me see that picture, see what he shared there.
Yeah, so when you look at that, I'll do the layman's terms of what's happening. So he was showing the URL decode, base64 decode. Don't fully understand how this works, which is why Jmart Media is figuring this one out real fast. But things were not encrypted, and so it was just showing the words you searched and sending it back to Xiaomi.
Okay.
And then so he shows several tweets. Here's the anonymized request from a few minutes ago. And so it shows the UID, and then it shows a random string of numbers. That makes it anonymous. Makes it so they end user, or not end users, but the Xiaomi can't see what they're searching. And then he shows another one. I thought he shows another one where it's not encrypted.
Yeah. So base64 encoding is used pretty often for sending stuff in a URL, because certain characters can't go in a URL because it would kind of break the format of a URL.
Yeah.
But if it's base64 encoded, it can be sent over in a URL. But it's not necessarily encrypted because it can easily be decoded on the other end without needing like a password or anything. So I guess base64 is just the way that they were sending the data. And I just sent you an image on Discord which shows some of the JSON data, which JSON is just, it stands for JavaScript object notation, but it just has like a list of properties on the left and then the values on the right. And a few of the things that it shares from what the guy on Twitter shared, it shows the actual terms he was searching for and the method that he was searching for and the platform he was on, Android, the network type, Wi-Fi. I guess other than what he was searching for, it's not necessarily anything that important, but
yeah,
there's no reason that Xiaomi should necessarily have
that.
all that information or be sending all that information to themselves.
Yeah. And then the way Xiaomi fixed this situation, their settings is pretty great. So in the top right corner, you hit the cogwheel settings. Now this is on the Xiaomi Mint browser, so if you're watching, it's probably not for your browser. But hit the settings. You go into incognito mode settings, so it doesn't look like it's going to even be in the normal browser.
Settings.
Yeah, so if you normal browse, it's still going to be sent, I assume. And then your incognito mode either your incognito or enhanced incognito mode. Aggregated data stats won't be uploaded when incognito mode is on. Wow, that is wild. You would just assume that in incognito mode, no data is kept or sent that isn't absolutely required.
Yeah, because that's kind of the purpose of incognito mode.
Yeah. Way to go, Xiaomi.
Huh.
Oh, I just closed my YouTube. I'm sure it's fine. Speaking
VR.
Of my YouTube, it's a halfway point there.
Hey, this video is sponsored by Jmart Media and NephewTech.
That's me, NephewTech.
Check the descriptions for links to those channels.
Oh, man, if I was on my live stream, I could get my link to my live dashboard to make sure that things are still happening correctly. There we go. We're back. Whew, nothing changed. So this is VR article. I don't know if we want to save it till the end or because it's because it's 6 and 7.
Yeah, we can save it to the end. Do you want to skip 8 too?
Yeah.
Number 9. NephewTechs phone is soon to be insecure.
Not that I'm trying to get to talking about me or anything. So this is over on sammobile.com. No idea what this website is. But it was on news.google.com/tech. So let's see what it says. Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, which I am the S8, will only receive quarterly security updates now. Honestly, if you ask me how often I received updates, I'd say about once every 3 months. So I really didn't notice anything anyways. Apparently they were rolling out monthly security updates. I don't think I turn my phone on and off every month. So
True.
Unless, but then it also tells me like, oh, this is the first time your phone's gone to the lock screen since it's been last power booted. So you need to type in the passcode then rather than use your fingerprint.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how often it was giving me updates before, but it looks like it's the end of the line for Galaxy S8 series.
That's amazing because this article says it only came out in 2017, which is not that long ago. I mean, that's just barely over 3 years ago.
So you say came out 2017?
Right. Yeah. It says April 21st, 2017.
All right. So the iPhone 8 was released in 2017.
Okay.
Are they still supporting it?
Surely.
iPhone. Let's just do iPhone N.
But it's not like Samsung is dropping support for the phone. They're just reducing the amount of updates they push out. And I bet you that if there was a security vulnerability specifically with the Galaxy S8, they would probably step it up a little bit faster just because they don't want that bad press.
That's true. Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but hey, I don't have a Galaxy S8, so
okay.
What do I care?
Yeah. Looks like Apple's still supporting everything from the 6 up. So
okay.
They still got a few years.
Yeah.
I just was thinking that Apple's still supporting their same year phone, and here Samsung like, nah, we're done with it. You'll get the quarterly update that Android pushes out. But
yeah,
because that's what it sounds like, that they're not even going to do any updating. It's just going to be whatever Android has. It's like, all right, we implemented it. Here you go.
Yeah, this says Samsung will simply bundle all the security updates in one firmware update. It's going to be sent out once every quarter. Yeah, so you're right. No new features. So there's no use expecting that the next update will bring anything other than the security patch, which is fine.
Yeah.
That I can see.
Honestly, I don't know what other feature I would want. So, like,
yeah.
It kind of does everything I expect it to.
Yeah. I would say this is different than them not supporting the phone.
Okay, I'll give them that, yeah. Number 11. I'm skipping 10 for a minute because 10's interesting. 11. NVIDIA's mid-range GeForce RTX 3060 could beat flagship RTX 2080 Ti. So the 2080 Ti is a $1,200 at least graphics card. And the RTX 3060, which I believe 3060s are usually in like the $300 to $400 range, the 60s. So like I have a 1060 downstairs, and I think I spent like $280 on it.
Okay, yeah.
And that was at the time of purchase. It's a different price now.
Yeah.
So to say that a mid-tier card is going to start destroying, crushing, could beat the top end, the best of the best, is wild.
I wonder. Okay, so it looks like it will have RTX support too, which could get a lot of people interested in it just for that, especially with Minecraft moving over to RTX.
Yeah.
And yeah, this article also says that NVIDIA typically charges far less than $500 for a mid-range GeForce RTX 2060. So we could expect this to come in along, the same price as the 2060, as the 60 version. Just the new generation or whatever.
Yep. So when they're saying could beat down here, they're specifying. So GA104, I haven't shared, but yeah, right under the amper picture.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, GA104, that's the 1060 or the 3060. The GA103 is the 3070, and the GA102 is the 3080, I believe.
Let me see. So the 102.
But the 104 is the 3060, and they're estimating 5% slower than the 2080 Ti.
Mm-hmm.
But the GA103, which coming up here, is showing that it's the 3070, the 3080. 3070, 3080 is going to be 10% faster than the 2080 Ti. So the 3070, which would be considered 2 steps lower, 3 steps lower, because you'd have the 3070 Ti, 3080, 3080 Ti. So there'd be 3 between those two cards.
Wow.
Will be 10% faster. And the 102, wow. I don't know where the 102 is, unless it's a typo here. That the 3080 is a GA103. Because then it goes to GA100 for the 3080 Ti.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Because I would see the GA or this 3080 as a GA101, and then the 102 would be the 3070 Ti, because that's the one that's missing in this lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't quite fully understand that.
But yeah, being the top of the line being 40% faster than the 2080 Ti, which sells for
$1,200. Yeah, I believe the 2080 Ti is in the 1200s. I don't know what it is now with the old scare thing.
True. Wow, yep. Here's one 2080 Ti for $1,200. One for $1,400. Just the 2080 for $999. Yes, they're still pretty expensive.
So in my computer here that I'm using for the streaming, the one I got 4 screens plugged into, a DSLR capture card, we're streaming to 3 platforms, runs a GTX 670.
Wow.
We're not talking like 1 or 2 generations. We got the 700, the 900, the 1000, the 2000. It's not that it's 4 years because they had several skip years in there. Mm-hmm. We're talking like a 9-year-old graphics card. I might end up upgrading to the 3000 series. I kind of wish that when the 1000 series released, I upgraded then because it like that was a good time to jump. Yeah. But I didn't. It's looking like the 3000 series is going to be a good time to jump.
Because that should last for a long time.
Because, yeah, when that 2000 series released, and even the 1600s, that weird, so it's like the 1660 and those weird ones in there. Yeah. When both those series released, I didn't like the look of either. The 2080 Ti, of course, looks super attractive, but now I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, a lot of the 20 series had the RTX, but that was mainly all they offered.
Yeah, they didn't really offer performance, and it looks like the 30 or the 3000 series is where they're going to start offering that performance again.
Yeah, and still with RTX, which is nice.
Oh yeah. Speaking of things that are nice, Nintendo.
Can't beat Nintendo.
So this is over at nintendolife.com. Why Nintendo uses friend codes instead of screen names. A leaked document reveals all. So apparently you could have your screen name be whatever you want. I don't have the Nintendo Online thingy. And then you get a friend code. So in this example, it's like the SW-8496-something. And so you can send friend requests to your other Nintendo console users. Like, hey, let's play online together or such, I assume. And I guess people always ask, why can't I just type in their username and add them as a friend like I do on every platform?
Yeah.
And the Nintendo leaked document reveals it, the friend code. To realize this friend function, 12-digit friend codes are used. So in order to find your friends, they have a 12-digit friend code that's used. At first, their opinions that instead of a 12-digit number, a freely chosen screen name would be better. So they were originally going to just use a general search. So you can just search for your friend Mario. And it'll just show you all the Marios, I assume.
Yeah.
And then they said the problems with using screen names include the high probability of duplicate screen names. When this happens, multiple re-entries are required. Conflicts with the simple principle. So they have a principle to keep everything simple. So then if you have 2 people named Mario on the Nintendo network, it would no longer be simple because now the user has to make a choice.
Yeah.
And then the second bullet point, it's possible to guess someone's screen name by trying different variations of their actual name. Conflicts with the comfortable principle. So the fact that Nintendo has these simple, comfortable, and I'm sure lots more principles, it's kind of neat that they are like,
what that they actually have a reason behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, nope, you are user SW-8496. It's not just numerical ordered.
I have noticed on Steam, I don't know if you ever tried to search for someone on Steam.
No.
But usually there are a lot of duplicates searching for friends on Steam. So you do have to choose which one you think is the person you're looking for, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but it's not that big of a deal. But I can see, like, for example, the Wii's audience being maybe a little bit younger.
Yeah.
I guess I can see that. Although I feel like getting a kid to recite a 12-digit
code
friend code is going to be difficult.
It would be neat if they did have a username that could be anything, but then allowed you to have whatever friend code you wanted, and it would say like, oh, this code's not available, please use another one. So your name could be your name, but then there could be 12 people with your name, and that's fine because your friend code would be something. So my friend code could be the real NephewTech, and then my name could be NephewTech.
Yeah. And that's kind of how, I guess in a way, that's kind of how Instagram works, but it's also how Steam works. So you can have multiple people having the same username on Steam, but you still have a unique Steam ID.
Yep.
Or on Instagram, you have your unique, like your at whatever name.
Yeah. And then,
but you can still have your actual name.
Yeah. Then like Facebook and YouTube does that, where you can do facebook.com/user/NephewTech. And then YouTube does that with youtube.com/what something/your NephewTech.
Yeah.
But this is definitely an acceptable way. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool that they actually have a reason and they can explain that.
Of all the documents that could be leaked by all the companies, this is probably the best thing to happen.
Yeah. Actually, a positive-ish leak.
Man, we got so many topics.
It's already 8:48 too.
Oh, okay. I thought we streamed for an hour and 40 minutes for a second. I was like, wait a second. Oh man, this is over from TheVerge.com. Copy and paste the real world with your phone using augmented reality.
There you go.
Thank you. I got one argument. I don't know why I want to say argument. Finally, a practical use for AR that isn't just shopping. And this is a hysterical second line, or like co-title.
Subtitle or whatever?
Yeah, subtitle. Yeah. There we go. Because in the video, it is used to make a shopping video, or like a shopping image. Okay. So we can see them using their phone. They take a picture of a plant, and then they paste the image right into their document. So they can do it with this book here.
I will say that's pretty cool. I will say I haven't used AR for shopping at all, and didn't know people did.
So I didn't either. This is a very cool idea for quick mock-ups, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Saying this is really close to roughly what I want.
Now, it may not be your final version. Like, say you're building a flyer for a local event or something. You could mock something up quickly like this, but then you may have to go in and edit it for your final version that you're going to actually publish.
Yeah, or if you're working...
It's good for mocking up, like you said.
If you're working with a professional and you're like, here's what I'm trying to envision. Because a lot of times when I do that, I open up Microsoft Paint. Yeah. Like, here's a rough guess of the idea, or I just start sending photos. Just like, I want this from this photo, and this from this photo, and this from this photo. And being able to do something like this, especially if they're able to make it end user friendly, which if it's in Photoshop, it might not be.
That's a good point.
But if it's an app on the phone where you can just take photos of things and it would automatically make it a Photoshoppable file, so it'll have the background removed and it will have the good dynamic lighting. It could make the professional's job a lot easier by being able to throw up quick mock-ups for you to review.
True.
And so you're like, no, I don't want to play it at this angle. I would prefer at this angle. Then you can just send them the exact angle that you want. And they're like, okay, now I'm going to go back with the fancy camera on Tuesday and get it exactly how you like it.
Yeah. So looking further down in the article, it also mentions more of how people use the AR for shopping, which is basically as an overlay to see what clothes or furniture or makeup would look like on your face or your house or your body. which is not something that I've realized people did. I mean,
you don't go makeup shopping that often?
It's been since before the quarantine, you know.
Since at least the quarantine, he says.
Yeah, exactly. Since before the quarantine. So yeah, I mean, I guess I can see that for like clothes and whatnot, but honestly, the pictures of clothes are made to make them look good, and a lot of times you get them in person, and they're not anything like what you expected. So even using augmented reality before you buy the clothes isn't necessarily going to change the way it turns out. But yeah, this is definitely cool. This technology here, not the technology in terms of shopping necessarily, but it's pretty neat.
This next article is not pretty neat. We'll probably fly through it pretty fast. This is over on Ars Technica. Billy Mitchell takes his Donkey Kong high score cheating case to court again at this point. So at the beginning of this, I said that I had recently watched something about it. I found it. It's called, it's a movie, documentary / sport, 2007, called The King of Kong. And it's all about
a movie about this guy.
Yeah, it's all about how he cheated.
Wow.
And he swears that he didn't cheat. He's just not able to play video games on camera or with anybody watching. And you have to trust that his high scores are real. And then they show several times where he's taken a picture of his high score, and people can show that this picture was photoshopped or edited or manipulated, or
just because the like colors not lining up or fonts being different. Yeah, that
or
makes sense.
JPEG compression not
being the same on
the
background image and then the text or whatever.
And so he's going to court. There's no way he can win this. I don't.
So Billy Mitchell is the guy that allegedly cheated.
Very big allegedly.
And he is the one that's actually suing Twin Galaxy, who I guess are the people that run the high scoreboard, for defaming him.
Yeah. Twin Galaxies, I believe, is one of 2 of the biggest high score video game boards. But I don't remember what the other one is.
In September 2019, Mitchell and his lawyers said in a statement they would be forced to resort to legal recourse if Twin Galaxies didn't rescind its decision to reinstate Mitchell's scores. So unless they put his scores back up on the high scoreboard, they were going to sue him. Or sue Twin Galaxies. Wow.
But I highly recommend that if you want to watch a very embarrassing documentary, that's a good one.
This is one of those things. I wonder if he consented to this documentary because...
documentary. That's... I knew how to pronounce it the whole time. I highly doubt it.
Because, like, man, that's not going to be a good documentary for him. That's pretty crazy.
That's pretty much all about the article. It's a great movie if you're running out of stuff to watch and you want to just something with a little bit of real world.
Even though it seems like it's not the real world, it is. What you've all been waiting for. Who is the YouTuber that YouTube is trying to trap onto their platform?
Trap.
Is trap a good word?
It's a PewDiePie. I ruined it.
Spoiler alert.
If you didn't, just scroll down to the bottom of my description. All right, but the second headline is, despite the deal, YouTube says its biggest star won't get special treatment if he breaks the rules. I can't wait to see them go back on their word. Because he will break the rules.
Yeah, he will. But he's always broken the rules. And he's never really, I wouldn't say he's really got special treatment.
No, but he can definitely strong arm better than simply because everybody knows.
Mm-hmm. But it says, the wording they use indicates that it has already been signed. And yeah, the title of the article, YouTube secures PewDiePie with an exclusive live streaming deal. Yeah, it does seem like it's been signed. This is kind of interesting after a lot of people have signed on with Mixer.
Yeah, that YouTube is now trying to start claiming a few.
Yeah.
Big names before they're all gone.
Yeah. And I don't know if PewDiePie's ever really indicated that he would be interested in switching platforms. So I don't know if YouTube really needed.
So in late 2019, PewDiePie announced that he was taking a break from YouTube after criticizing it for new policies that prohibited a lot of videos that contained implied threats or that maliciously insult someone based on protected attributes such as their race, gender expression, or sexual orientation. So I guess he was feeling contained almost. Like he wasn't allowed to be fully free creative on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So he said he was going to take a break, which, I mean, everybody needs to take a break from everything eventually. You need vacation all the time.
Yeah. And these big YouTubers, they really don't get that because if they do take a break, then their videos don't do as well when they come back. And
yeah. Or in order to take a break, they have to triple or quadruple down.
Yeah, they have to do quadruple the amount of work over a 1 week period to make up for the work that they're missing the next week or whatever.
Yeah. And that could be tough.
Yeah.
But
and a lot of that more like creative process, you can't just
quadruple down on it.
Yeah, you can't just be more creative.
So it'd be interesting to see what his response to all this will be.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he's big enough at this point he could create his own platform.
I think that's so hard technically that...
You think he has enough upfront investment that he could move enough viewers from YouTube to his platform?
That's the real question. I mean, it's kind of what Mixer's trying to do in a way.
Yeah.
Except it's a company.
Yeah, or Floatplane with Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah.
So he could have his own platform with other creators where they release to his platform first, and then a week later they release to YouTube. That way they're still getting those YouTube viewers pulling over to get that 1 week earlier access.
Yeah. I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see what would happen.
Yeah, it would be for sure.
Oh man, we just passed the 1 hour mark, which means we can hit stop streaming whenever we want. We have officially upheld our end of the deal on this after months.
So we've got the one article for next week, and we have the other article. We can use it for next week too.
Yeah, you want to save?
6,
Article 6 for next week. Sweet.
It's an interesting article, but you'll have to wait till next week for us to discuss it. Or pull it out of our descriptions.
Yeah. If you can find it, you can read it. You'll read it before us. I'll tell you that.
We'll talk about that next week.
All right. Y'all have a good week.